Hi friends, this is the second video in our four-part series on healing with the elements, and in today's video we're not going to just talk about the wonderful qualities of the air element, but I'm going to give you practices and rituals that will help you build up this element within yourself. We are microcosms of nature, and we all have these elements within us, and so the point of doing this series is to shine a light on where we might be deficient. And then the practices will help us to integrate these elements and to initiate healing. So welcome back to my channel as we continue on. If this is your first time here, I'm Brandy Falcon with Falcon Healing Arts, where I help women and their families heal on every level of their being. And I do this through traditional Chinese medicine, energy and shamanic healing, and also human design. I gave a pretty thorough introduction on this Healing with the Elements series in our last video, in the first video where we focused on Earth. So if you haven't seen that yet, you may want to watch it after you watch this video. But in the meantime, we are just going to dive in. So let's talk about what the earth element is, what it's associated with, instances where you may need to use the earth element more to bring yourself into balance, and my 3 favorite practices to engage with it. The main thing you need to understand the air element is that it is formless. We engage with it in our environment, and it's easy for us to assimilate it within ourselves through our breathing. It's an obvious connection we have between our inner and outer worlds. And even though it's invisible, none of us doubt that it's important, because we also realize that we need air to keep ourselves alive. So even though we can't see it, we can feel it. We can conceptualize it. And so air is associated with our mind, with our thoughts, with ideas, also with our spirituality, higher thinking, higher perspectives, and with our life force energy. Air is pretty much the opposite of earth, which is why I'm doing these back to back, because it's easy to understand each of them in relation to each other. So we were talking last week about the earth element being a manifesting energy. So we're taking ideas, thoughts from our higher mind, from spirit, and bringing it into form on this physical plane. The air element is the opposite. We are working from the earth, from our bodies, from our form, and we are bringing this up and seeking up to spirit. So this is what we often call enlightenment. It is this lifting of energy, this ascension. This enlightened perspective also helps us understand our higher purpose. We are inspired by air. Both definitions. So inspiration as both feeling moved to do something creative or to move someone else with our ideas, to give rise to something positive and meaningful. But it's also inspiration in the other way, and that inspiration is inhaling. It's bringing in these essential elements we need to keep our life force healthy and active. This is the life force energy that animates us, what we call prana in the yoga system, chi in traditional Chinese medicine, and this is the energy that links us to everyone in the collective, to nature. So does overlap with earth in that regard, that it's very relational. Air is a very yang energy. So it's higher, it's lighter, it's more active. And this, again, we can compare to earth, which is more yin. It's more grounded, receptive. And so air, it being yang, it is very changeable. It's about growing and evolving. I love to work with the elements, with tarot readings, also with astrology. So in in tarot, air is related to the suit of swords, which involves everything we just talked about, but it's also associated with conflict, that when we do see this suit, it indicates that there's change. And so there may be conflict from change because some of us don't like change, and the unpredictability around it can make people uneasy. And in astrology, air is related to the signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, who are all known for being the thinkers of the zodiac and for doing things in a unique, intelligent way. So how do you know if you need more earth element in your system? It's helpful to work with this element when you are feeling like you have way too much earth, way too grounded to the point where you're feeling sluggish, unmotivated, uninspired, antisocial, or even hopeless. And if you're feeling like this in any way, you might also need fire. Both air and fire are that spark that we need to initiate movement and change. So know that there might be a little overlap there. You'll want to work with the air element when you're feeling like your mind is too full, it's too cluttered, or you're overwhelmed with everything that is happening in the world and you're having a hard time focusing on what's important for you. That may also lead to indecision, so working with the air element is a good idea if you're having a hard time making choices. Of course, you'll also want to tap into this energy if you're wanting to create something bigger, to make space for new ideas, projects, and other endeavors. If you are having a hard time being self-led, if the idea of having a lot of freedom to do whatever you want is unsettling to you, this also indicates that you need more air element in your being, especially if you're really uncomfortable with the unpredictability of the future. Working with the air, and especially working with your higher consciousness or seeking spiritual support, is what's going to help you lift out of the self-doubt. And I also love working with the air element when the new moon or the full moon are in the air element signs of Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, because the sign that the moon is in tends to flavor what we experience during that period. So we're all feeling a bit more of the air element during that time. And it's a really nice way to connect in with the phases of the moon and the cycles in our lives. Before we move on to my recommended practices, I would love to hear where you're at. Do you feel like you have enough air element in your being, or do you feel like there is a lack of it that you need to build up? Let me know in the comments below. Now, there are so many ways to work with the air element. Honestly, I had a really hard time whittling this down to just 3 recommendations. And so I do have variations on each of this just so you have a bigger menu to play with. So the first practice that I recommend, of course, is a breathing practice. And I have several videos that you can do here on this channel that's going to help you explore air in the environment internally and externally with your breath. So this is connecting you to your life force. And when we have the breath in the foreground of our awareness during a breathing practice, and even in a meditation practice where we have the breath as an anchor of awareness, you are placing more importance on your life force energy. You start to feel how imperative it is to have this connection, that each breath is keeping you alive. So just to have that awareness as you're doing this practice is so, so huge and does connect you spiritually. But we need to be open to going that deep with these practices. So you can look in the description below for a list of the breathing practices that I recommend. The second ritual and practice I recommend is working with sound through singing, having sound as your focus of awareness in a meditation, or using sound healing. So this is where we have more variations on working with sound. Sound carries on the air. It is one way we can explore the atmosphere. And so you can use your voice. You can explore from your being out into the environment. And just like my previous mention of the breathing practice, it does make a difference what you are doing and how you are paying attention to it. So intention is always key with all of these practices. So it makes a difference what you are singing, what words you are using. Are they positive? Are they uplifting? And you don't even need to use words. So what we do in shamanic healing often is to come up with our own soul song. And you can do this very easily by grounding yourself, coming into a very meditative state, and then just allow a song to rise up out of you. So it can be just simple humming. Start making tones. Make any sounds that feel like they need to come up. Give yourself that space. Just let it be beautiful. Let it be this expression like you're responding to the birds outside. They probably don't care how you sound. Just making that connection of carrying a sound on the wind is so special. So let yourself improvise, have fun with it, and notice how it affects your mood. So second subset here is you can use sound as an anchor for your meditation. And that means that you're placing sound in the foreground of your awareness. As you're grounding down, you're opening up your ears to explore your environment. So this is, again, another way to explore your formless nature. Hear your breathing. Maybe you can hear the air purifier in the room. Listen to the clock ticking. Maybe you can sit outside, listen to the birds, listen to the wind chimes, listen to the wind blowing through the trees. Just let any sounds penetrate into your ears, into your consciousness. Let this sound on the air become part of you. And then of course with sound healing, you can have an in-person sound bath with a practitioner who does singing bowls. You can also listen to binaural beats. I have a playlist here on YouTube I have collected that I recommend to my energy healing clients. When you are receiving sound, it is helpful to be an active participant. So you aren't just spacing out, but you are integrating it into you. You are being open, porous, and receptive. And again, you are letting the sound become part of you. Imagine also that it's clearing out any stagnant energy that might be blocking your energy channels and impacting your health and wellness on any level. So it's really nice to bring this deeper intention into the sound healing practices. And my next recommendation is to do an upper world shamanic journey. So for the earth element, I was recommending a lower world shamanic journey, again, because we're talking about polar opposite energies. So when we do an upper world journey, this is where we meet the ascended masters, angels, our higher self. This is lifting our consciousness to receive higher wisdom. I teach shamanic journeying in my holistic healing sessions, also in my Pathway to Empowerment program. So you can see details on those in the description below. You can also connect in with your higher self through meditation and visualization. And a really good place to start is to download my free offer, which is 3 essential meditations. I do a grounding meditation, a centering meditation, and a raising your awareness meditation. And it's it's that third one that is going to help you experience this higher consciousness and connect in with your higher self. I will also have that in the description below. Again, I know there are so many other ways that you can engage with the air element and integrate it into your being. So I'm curious to know if there's something else you recommend others try. You can let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me, friends. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it with a friend who could use the support. Next week, we'll be covering the fire element, so make sure you are subscribed to this channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss that video and any of my future uploads. Much love to you all. I hope you have a wonderful week.